Benny Bear and Ruby Rabbit, and the moonlit tide. One calm evening, Benny Bear and Ruby Rabbit sat on the beach, watching the moon rise over the ocean. The silver light turned the waves into ribbons of glowing silk. Ruby hugged her knees. "It's so beautiful, Benny. It almost looks like the sea is glowing just for us." Benny smiled. "Maybe it is. Or maybe it's magic." As they watched, the water began to sparkle, even more tiny lights flickering beneath the surface like stars in the sea. "The lights beneath the waves," Ruby gasped. "Look, the ocean's full of twinkling lights." They waded into the shallows, laughing as glowing swirls surrounded their feet. The water shimmered with blue and green sparkles wherever they stepped. "It's called sea sparkle," said Keeper Barnaby, who had come down from the lighthouse to watch. "Tiny sea creatures light up when the moon is high, the ocean throws a party, and you two are the guests of honor." Ruby giggled, spinning in a glowing circle. Benny laughed and joined her, sending ripples of light dancing across the shore. A message in the glow. As the waves lapped gently around them, the glow formed the shape of a whale, their old friend from the storm. Benny and Ruby stood still, amazed. Ruby whispered, "He's saying hello again." The glowing whale shimmered once, then faded as the tide carried it back into the deep. Moonlit dreams. That night they sat by the lighthouse, listening to the soft hush of the sea. The moon shone bright, and the waves glowed faintly in return like the world was smiling. Ruby yawned. "I think the ocean's wishing us good night." Benny nodded sleepily. "And we're wishing it sweet dreams." Benny Bear and Ruby Rabbit and the Journey Home. After many adventures by the sea, Benny Bear and Ruby Rabbit packed their bags for the journey back to Pinecone Forest. Ruby hopped along the shoreline one last time. "I'll miss the waves, Benny." Benny nodded, carrying their basket of seashell treasures, and the whale, the festivals, and the moonlit tides. But we'll always have the memories. A farewell to friends. Otto the otter paddled alongside them as they left the beach. "Come visit any time," he called. Even the sea queen waved from her reef, sending a shimmering ribbon of light across the water. Ruby smiled. "We've been lucky to meet so many friends." Benny chuckled, "and learn a lot about the sea and ourselves." The journey back. They travelled over hills and cliffs, through forests and meadows. Along the way they talked about all the treasures they had found, glowing stones, pearls, starfish crowns, and memories of magical adventures. Ruby hummed a tune that reminded her of the whale's song, and Benny joined in with a deep, happy growl. Together their voices blended with the wind, rustling through the trees. Home at last. When Pinecone Forest appeared ahead, their paws were tired, but their hearts were full. Their friends gathered to welcome them back, eager to hear stories of sparkling seas, glowing tides, and moonlit magic. Ruby hugged Benny. "It's good to be home." Benny smiled. "Home is where the adventures start, and where we share them with friends." That night, as the stars twinkled above Pinecone Forest, Benny Bear and Ruby Rabbit drifted off to sleep, dreaming of seashells, glowing waves, and the friends they had made along the way. Benny Bear and Ruby Rabbit and the Autumn Leaf Hunt. The first crisp winds of autumn swept through Pinecone Forest. Leaves painted the ground in shades of gold, red, and orange. Ruby Rabbit twitched her nose. "Benny, let's collect the prettiest leaves for a forest collage." Benny Bear yawned and stretched. "I'm in as long as we can snack on acorns along the way." The hunt begins. They wandered down the winding paths, spotting maple, oak, and birch leaves of every shape. Ruby hopped from pile to pile, tossing leaves into the air, while Benny carefully chose the roundest and shiniest ones. "Look at this one," Ruby squealed, holding up a leaf that shimmered like fire in the sunlight. Benny nodded. Perfect for our collage. Yet, a forest surprise. As they collected leaves, a rustling came from the bushes. Out popped Daisy Deer, carrying a small branch decorated with berries. Can I join your leaf hunt? She asked. Of course, Ruby said. The more the merrier. Together they found even more colourful leaves, laughing as the wind sent them swirling around like confetti. The collage. Back at Benny's cabin, they spread a blanket on the floor and arranged the leaves into a beautiful pattern. Acorns, pine cones, and berries added finishing touches. Ruby clapped her paws. It looks amazing. Benny smiled, taking a bite of an acorn. And it tastes even better than the snacks we collected along the way. Daisy grinned. Best autumn day ever. As the sun dipped behind the trees, the friends admired their leafy masterpiece, the forest glowing warmly around them.